today's review, we are reviewing the McFarlane Toys Halo 4/5 Spartan CIO, I believe, from McFarlane Toys. It is the WALGREENS exclusive at the time when it came out, and I'm very excited to do a review on it real fast. We're going to go over the paint design. Very interesting choices of what looks like a kind of like silver with like a mint green. I really like this helmet design. It's really cool. But yeah, not as much detail as the Halo Reach era, but let's go over the articulation real fast. Head can go that far down and not very far up. Arms can go full T-pose, and of course there is a 360 movement with nothing getting in the way. There is of course the elbow and bicep and forearm and elbow movement that gets a 90-degree turn. There is the wrist and hand articulation, so you can get all those awesome gun holding poses with the hand. There's a hip swivel like this. There's not really much ab crunch, like it's like that much and then that much, so it's not great. And then of course the legs can go that far out and that far back, but it's not quite, natural looking, and that far forward. There is a hip swivel, but it's not the cool, kind that, lets you move all around. There's a lot of, restraints when it comes to the hip area. Legs can bend that far, and then there's of course the swivel over here. Foot can go that far that way and that far that way. And then of course there is the toe articulation, but due to the Spartan armor design, it's not quite as much as some of the other ones. But yeah, overall decent figure, but there's some likes and dislikes here and there. It does come with, I believe this is the DMR from Halo 4/5. There's about 3, I think, different paint colors here. There's the kind of gunmetal underneath it, and a silver, and then like a light gray. So yeah, really interesting design. But yeah, I'm gonna strike him in a really cool pose, or try to at least, and then give my final thoughts on it. And here we have the WALGREENS exclusive Spartan CIO in a battle ready pose. You really can't get too many poses out of these figures, unfortunately, because of the articulation. That is definitely my only gripe with the Halo 4/5 Spartan armor design for both the game interpreted into toy kind of feel. There's just not very much you can do with it. It is a really cool figure to have posed out, in this kind of cool pose with maybe 2 other Spartans on a shelf or next to your console, but it is definitely something where these figures are not, 5 out of 5s for me. They're more like 4s and 3s because they just, are lacking in articulation and paint apps compared to the older McFarlane toys, and it's kind of sad to see the direction it went in towards the end, and you can kind of see why, they went from McFarlane to Mattel. And then even that line kind of suffered in its own ways. I think Jazzware did a really good job, except for, where they failed was paint apps. It just doesn't feel like they had as many, paint hits or detail or design, and the plastic felt kind of off. But yeah, this figure is decent overall. I just don't know if it's something that, you necessarily need in your Halo collection. If you're, someone who's trying to get all the different Spartan armors and the different designs, then that is awesome. It is definitely a figure that I, will enjoy kind of having on display, but it's something that if someone else could have more fun in it, it would definitely be something to pass on to some other collector. But enough on that. Decent figure overall, really fun game kind of design, but definitely one of those things where there's pros and cons to the articulation and the paint apps. But overall, I really like the gun design and I like the helmet design. Like always, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already. If you are, thank you so much. If you aren't, please definitely think about it. It does help the channel out. Leave a comment down below, which also helps out, and the like. Let me know down in the comment below if you ever rocked this Spartan armor, maybe not necessarily these colors. Hit that notification bell for the next one. and share it with any other Halo fans that might get a kick out of it. And thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you in the next one.